Just a few days ago, we saw South Australia close their entire border to Western Australia, and indeed then they just relaxed that to the areas currently in lockdown in Perth and areas surrounding that. But this case, they say, is very different. So people from Victoria are allowed to enter South Australia, and that also includes people from the Greater Melbourne area. So what those people will need to do from the Greater Melbourne area is get tested 3 times over a 2-week period. That's on days 1, 5 and 12 of first entering South Australia, and they will need to self-isolate until they get that first negative COVID test. But it is a different case here, a different case between the two states that is mostly being attributed to the different hotel quarantine systems between the two states. Let's have a listen to what SA Health had to say about that.
In regards to the WA versus the Victorian situation, we know there are many differences between the two hotel quarantine setup, and particularly in Victoria they were having daily saliva testing and also having a frequent nasal PCR regime for testing. So it is very important for us to understand that WA put a lot of measures in place. We are talking about 2 very different hotel quarantine facilities.
The benefit with the Victorian system is that many of the man's colleagues, because of that daily testing, have already been tested and have been testing negative. So that is a main benefit of getting a daily testing in the hotel quarantine system. However, any people from South Australia who were at the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Melbourne, or indeed any of the other hotspot areas that have been outlined by the Victorian government where the man has been, will need to contact SA Health if they are now here in South Australia. We also heard from the South Australian Premier a short time ago. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
This is an area of concern. We do need to be alert. We don't need to be alarmed. We certainly have been able to deal very effectively with these types of situations before, and I expect that it's going to continue in the future.
Now, anyone who's been entering South Australia from that Greater Melbourne area since January 28 will also need to contact SA Health and also need to submit to those 3 tests across a 2-week period. Now, that's about 7,000 to 8,000 people here that are currently in the state, and SA Health are currently contacting those people to make sure they get the tests done.